What up, fellas? It's your boy Big Dave coming at you before UFC 317 Topuria versus Oliveira for the vacant UFC lightweight title. Already recorded this video, but I didn't realize because I had the camera flipped the other way that my storage got full again at about 6 minutes in. So I did about 20 something minutes. And I was like, that was a good video. And then I look and none of it got recorded. So we're going to try this again. We never give up. And I almost knocked my tripod over. Alright. Starting with the first fight. We got Niko Price versus Jacobe Smith. Going Jacobe Smith. And I'm going to go by first or second round TKO. Niko Price is still dangerous, but he's getting up there. He's taken a lot of damage in his career. And Jacobe Smith, he seems just kind of like a jab, cross, hook kind of fighter. But, he's got big power. And with the wrestling background, I think he's going to have enough cardio and not get out-grappled by Niko Price. But Niko Price is dangerous and he's unorthodox, so, he could have some moments here. He has a route to win if he can get a finish, but I'm going to go Jacobe Smith, and like I said, I'm going to go by a second round TKO. Moving up, Alvin Hines versus Jhonata Diniz. Alvin Hines, the rare big guy that can throw a head kick, and he can throw it very fast. He's kind of like a bulbous, baby-looking person. He seems like a cool guy. He's got a cool nickname. I think it's like, I forget. It's something, though. But, he's kind of like plodding on the feet, and when he goes to strike, he kind of just wades in. He doesn't have like a whole lot of craft. And Jhonata Diniz, his grappling got exposed by Marcin Tybura, but that's Tybura. He's an actual really dangerous. I got my belly showing. He's an actual dangerous grappler for heavyweight. So I don't think that's going to be Alvin Hines. So I'm going to go Jhonata Diniz. I'm going to go by decision. This might be a very heavyweight striking fight, if you know what I mean. But, yeah, I'm going to go Jhonata Diniz by decision. I just think, I don't think Alvin Hines is at this level yet. He's going to need to fight some good guys before I pick him. Moving up, Sedriques Dumas versus Jackson McVey. Just like, who cares, It's crazy that Dumas is still in the UFC. This is going to be just a weird kind of low-level middleweight fight. I think Jackson McVey, though, actually, being a tall guy, he's got some finishing potential here. Because especially Dumas likes to initiate wrestling when he gets pressured. And I think if he tries to take down McVey, he's going to run into some kind of choke. And that's what I'm going to pick. I'm going to pick Jackson McVey by guillotine or darce. I feel like Dumas will probably just stick his head in there. And, I'm not impressed with Dumas. I know, at least at the elite level, I don't think he's there. So, I don't know how good Jackson McVey is. He hasn't fought anyone great, so yeah, if you put money on this fight, you're tripping, bro. You're a degenerate, and you need to get help. So, I'm going to go Jackson McVey, and I'm going to go by submission. Moving up, Terrance McKinney versus Viacheslav Borshchev. Dog, stop licking yourself. This is a crazy fight because Terrance McKinney, he's a front runner. He comes out hot. He has really good power. He's got really good wrestling, and he's just super dangerous. Oh, no. Whoops. And he's just super dangerous in the first round. And then after that, his finishing potential drops real low. And Borshchev, he did get kind of mogged by Chase the Gooner Hooper. And but Chase Hooper's looked good, so there's no shame in that at this point. It's like, do you think Terrance McKinney is just gonna go wipe him out? Or do you think Borshchev can survive and then put the hands on McKinney? He's a better striker, but McKinney, he has that grappling, the wrestling, But I'm going to go Vlastislav Borshchev. I think McKinney, again, is going to have a really good first round. But I think if he doesn't finish Borshchev has the cardio and the kind of calmness to go in there and put a whooping on him. But he hasn't looked great lately, I'm not going to lie. Like, barely beating James Lontop is... that's not where we thought Borshchev was at, but I'm gonna trust him, which is every time I say I'm gonna trust him, it ends up being wrong. But I'm gonna trust him to handle the pressure that McKinney's gonna bring, and then eventually start taking over the fight. But I don't think he's gonna finish McKinney, so I'm gonna go Viacheslav Borshchev by decision. Moving up, Viviana Araujo versus Tracey Cortez. I guess this is a good place to say that I did very little research. These are all just off the top of my head. Like, I remember their fights, and I try to put it into some sort of context for how they're going to go against each other. But I don't remember any Viviana Araujo fights. I barely remember Tracey Cortez fights. The only thing I know about Tracey Cortez is she's a boxer wrestler, and that she's a big favorite. So if you want to make money, just bet on the underdog. But yeah, I don't have anything to say. I'm gonna go Tracey Cortez. I'm gonna go by decision. That's it. Moving up, Hyder Amil versus Jose Delgado. Now, okay, so this is a violent fight. Two finishers. Hyder Amil is a brawler. He likes to walk you down and throw power punches at you and get you to exchange in a brawl. And in a brawl, he's nasty. His big head is up there. He does get hit a lot. Wait, let me fix this. Whoops. Stop the video. I hate recording on an iPhone. That's so annoying. Okay, Hyder Amil versus Jose Delgado. Yeah, I'm gonna go Jose Delgado here because I think he is more dangerous in more variety of ways. I think if he stands there and tries to trade with Hyder Amil, he's going to get finished. But I think if he keeps on his back foot and has a better version of the William Gomes fight, I think he can get this done. But Hyder Amil is dangerous. He's a brawler. He'll put you up against the cage and he'll smash you. So this is a close fight, but yeah, I'm going to go Jose Delgado, and I think I'm going to go second round TKO. Moving up, Jack Hermansson versus Gregory Rodrigues. I'm going to go Gregory Rodrigues. I think RoboCop has enough craft and enough of a just power edge to just take Hermansson out pretty quickly, or beat him up for 2 rounds and not get finished. I think that's the big thing. Is Jack Hermansson can't finish him. He might be able to just do the little outside kickboxing jab, kick, staying moving, staying elusive. But I think Rodrigues is a more combination oriented version of Joe Pyfer. And, even though Hermansson beat Pyfer, he did lose the first 2 rounds. Which, it seems like Pyfer typically is that kind of fighter where he'll win the first 2 just based off power and then lose. But that has nothing to do with this. And I think Rodrigues is smart enough. He's going to be able to just land the shots when it's needed. And then if Hermansson tries to just grapple, I think Rodrigues is a stronger, better, more physical grappler, and his jiu-jitsu is better. So I'm going to go Gregory Rodrigues. I'm actually going to go by second round knockout. Moving up, Peyton Talbott versus Felipe Lima, sorry. Peyton Talbott, the zesty king, good power. Showed some holes in his wrestling against Jaime Barcelos, but Barcelos is a high-level black belt and a really good fighter, so there's no shame in that. And then Felipe Lima is also a really good grappler and just a tough guy. This is a good fight. I'm gonna pick Felipe Lima. I don't know how he does against the power of Talbot, because Talbot does have good power. But, he just made so many grappling mistakes. It's hard to pick him against someone who submitted Muhammad Naimov. They're completely different fighters, but yeah, I don't like that. I think Talbot will have a slight size advantage. I mean, that remains to be seen. But I'm going to go Felipe Lima. I think he's going to be able to not get knocked out by Peyton Talbot and get some superior positions. And I think on the feet, he's not so bad that it's just going to be Talbot beating his ass on the feet. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Felipe Lima. I'm gonna go by close decision. But Peyton Talbot brings that zest and he brings that power, and that's a crazy combination. So he's always live to win. But I'm gonna go Felipe Lima by decision. Moving up, Beneil Dariush versus Renato Moicano. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna Renato Money Moicano. Lately he's been using a lot more of his grappling. But on the feet, he's not bad. He's not defensively great. He's kind of slow. And Dariush, I think Dariush in his prime gives him a lot more trouble than now. It just seems like Dariush isn't taking the shots as well as he used to. I think I'm getting sick. Yeah, I think I'm going to pick Moicano. I think he's got the grappling to keep up with Dariush, even if it goes to the floor. And I think on the feet, he's going to have the technical striking advantage, but I think Dariush is going to have the power advantage. So, Moicano has been stopped before quite a few times. So, if Dariush has anything left in that tank, then this is a very winnable fight. But I'm gonna pick Renato Moicano, and I'm gonna pick him by decision. I think this is a grappling fight. I think we get a lot of scrambles, and I just think he's good enough to not just get controlled on the ground by Dariush. So yeah, I'm gonna go Renato Moicano, and I'm gonna go by decision. Moving up, Brandon Royval versus Joshua Van. This is a great fight. You got Joshua Van, boxer, big power. Short for the division, but big power, very fast, very quick reactions. And then you got Brandon Royval, a lot of output, at least in his earlier career. It's kind of slowed down a little bit. Great cardio, bro does not get tired. And super tall and rangy for the division. But I'm going to go Joshua Van, and the reason I'm going to go Joshua Van is very simple. Brandon Royval is a sucker for a right hand. He will go on one foot looking for knees, looking for awkward punches, and he is just liable to get smacked right on the head. He's got a great chin, but I think those big moments can give Van this fight. The thing is Van is low output, so he could get caught, doing the whole defense thing while Royval just, he does like those little quick jabs, quick knees, weird awkward punches coming like that from around the side. And that Charles Johnson fight is worrying, but I can't keep thinking about that every time I watch Joshua Van fight. I'm just going to believe in Van. I think he might be already ready for the top. That Bruno Silva fight was nasty. And I think he's ready. I think he's sharp, and I think he's in shape. If it goes to the ground, the grappling, I think Royval can submit him. So that's something to consider. Maybe look at a Royval submission prop, but I'm going to trust Joshua Van. I think he's very composed, and I think he's very mature for how old he is. So I'm going to go Joshua Van, and I'm going to go by decision. I think he just lands the bigger shots, and I think he can just convince the judges based on the power. So yeah, Joshua Van by decision. Co-main event, Alexandre Pantoja versus Kai Kara-France for the flyweight title. This is an interesting fight because you've got Kara-France, who is a back foot fighter who likes to use big stepping, shifting punches. He's got good power. He's got decent wrestling defense. And, he's very game. And then you got Pantoja, who's more of a berserker, more of a in-your-face, winging the ugliest, craziest shots at you, but just tanking whatever you do, getting to the clinch, getting the back, controlling, using tricky little things to take you down. and he's a monster on top position. One of the few guys to just drop Brandon Moreno cleanly. Yeah, this is a tough fight, man. This could be just a classic Pantoja fight where he just grits through a win. Or this could be Kai Kara-France finally living up to that potential and getting a huge victory over Pantoja. I think I'm going to stick with the champ. I think I'm going to stick with Pantoja just because Kara-France is decent off the back foot, but he's not much of a counter striker. He's way better when he's initiating the punches. And if you stand up tall, yeah, he's nasty, but Pantoja doesn't really back down. He's so aggressive and he's like a little bull. And I think even if Kara-France has some moments and hurts him a couple times, I just think Pantoja's willingness to win and his grit can carry him through this. So I'm going to go Alexandre Pantoja, and I'm going to go by super close decision. But I can see this going either way. I can see Kara-France just outstriking him from distance and not engaging in the clinch, using some leg kicks. And yeah, but I don't know if Pantoja is going to let that happen. He hasn't yet, so I'm going to trust the champ. So I'm going to go Alexandre Pantoja, and I'm going to go by a decision. Moving up, main event, Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira for the lightweight title. And, I think Oliveira, if there's anyone that's going to just finish Topuria, it's going to be Oliveira. Just because he does really well against shorter opponents. He's really good against big, short, stocky guys. But I have a feeling Topuria is going to be prepared. I think he's just in his prime right now. I think he's supremely confident. And I think if he can back Charles up, I basically think whoever ends up backing up the most is going to lose this fight. I think if he backs Charles up and he can get him close to the fence, he can really do some damage. But Charles is live to do like a flying jump kick, flying knee. But the thing with Charles is he loves to grab that double collar tie, and Topuria is an expert at punishing dudes for reaching for him. He ducks his head, he goes body, head, and then I think if he knocks Oliveira down, he will not be scared to go on top position, similar to Makhachev. This is a great fight, man. I feel like this could be a fight of the year candidate, especially just the way they match up. You know what I mean? Especially if Topuria doesn't finish him early. Charles is a dog, man, and he will not quit. So, which is crazy because that used to be what everyone used to say about Oliveira. He quits. He gets hurt and he quits, but not no more. That's a different guy. This blonde Oliveira now. But I'm gonna go Ilia Topuria. I'm gonna go second round TKO. I think he might have to survive some tough situations. I think Oliveira can hurt him. But I trust in Topuria's toughness and his determination, his will to win, and his cardio. He fought Josh Emmett for 5 rounds on the feet and just beat his ass. So, this guy is nasty, and he's got 5 rounds of cardio. He's knocked out Volkanovski and Holloway. I mean, it's just, I might be a prisoner of the moment, but this guy's special. So, I'm going to go Ilia Topuria. I'm going to go by second round TKO. But I think Oliveira is a live dog. And I don't think people are giving him the credit he deserves. He's still that guy. But I think this might be Topuria's time. I just hope he's not been underestimating Oliveira. He's talking very confidently. And, I like that. But, it always makes me a little hesitant. I just hope he's focused on the task at hand, which I think he is. But, yeah. Ilia Topuria by second round TKO. I think he hurts him to the body. And I think if Charles goes down, Topuria will jump on him and go for some ground and pound, possibly go for a submission. But if the fight starts going late, like I said, Oliveira is a live dog. And yeah, that's going to do it. Those are my predictions for UFC 317. Zero research. I watched a couple of their fights, but yeah. So I would not gamble off anything I've said. But yeah, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. It helps a lot. And yeah, peace.